Welcome to HFY Stories. If you're ready for jaw-dropping stories and a universe full of excitement, hit that subscribe button like it's the big red button in a space opera. Give us a like if you're feeling that interstellar vibe and comment below to join the conversation. The newcomers. The Galactic Arena, known as the proving ground for warriors from across the galaxy, was abuzz with anticipation. Today marked the induction of a new species into the ranks of the elite warriors, humans from the distant planet Earth. Commander Ylvar of the Valdari, a species renowned for their unmatched combat skills and honor-bound traditions, observed the newcomers with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. The humans stood out among the gathering, clad in unassuming uniforms of dull green and brown. Their appearance lacked the intimidating armor and weaponry that marked the other races present. They were shorter than the Valdari, their bodies less muscular, and their skin soft and unscaled. Ylvar could hardly suppress a scoff as he watched them. These creatures, with their fragile frames and unimpressive stature, expected to compete with the galaxy's best. As the ceremony began, the Galactic Council introduced the humans. Captain Aria Thorn, the human leader, stepped forward. Her demeanor was calm, her eyes sharp. She surveyed the crowd, exuding a quiet confidence. Beside her stood Lieutenant Daniel Mason, a towering figure even among humans, known for his tactical brilliance and unyielding loyalty to Aria. Ylvar, standing at the front of the Valdari contingent, couldn't resist making his thoughts known. Humans, do you truly believe you can compete with the likes of us? His voice carried a mocking tone, drawing laughter from his fellow warriors. Your appearance is weak, your technology primitive. You won't last a day on the battlefield. Aria's gaze met Ylvar's. She smiled slightly, a gesture that seemed out of place in the arena of warriors. It's not about how we look, Commander Ylvar. It's about what we can do. Her response, measured and calm, only served to amuse the Valdari commander more. Then show us, Ylvar challenged. The proving grounds await. The humans took their place in the training exercises. The first trial was a simple combat simulation, designed to test reaction times and physical prowess. Ylvar watched as Aria and her team moved through the course, their movements precise, their coordination evident. But it was nothing extraordinary, just efficient. As the Valdari had expected, the humans lacked the sheer brute force of the more dominant species. It was during the second trial, a stealth exercise, that things took an unexpected turn. The participants were to navigate a dense forest, filled with surveillance drones and patrolling sentinels. The objective was to reach a specified target without being detected. The Valdari warriors, confident in their advanced cloaking technology and superior reflexes, moved swiftly through the forest. Ylvar, having easily evaded the detection systems, reached the target in record time, only to find himself alone. The other warriors arrived shortly after, but there was no sign of the humans. Time passed, and the murmurs among the warriors grew. Finally, after what seemed an eternity, Aria and her team emerged from the forest, undetected, without triggering a single alarm. They moved as if they were part of the shadows themselves, slipping through the forest unseen. The audience was stunned into silence. How? Ylvar demanded when the humans finally arrived. Our technology is the best in the galaxy. How did you remain undetected? Aria's smile was back, enigmatic and knowing. We don't rely solely on technology, Commander. We use our surroundings, blend with the environment. Our camouflage is not just in our equipment, but in our mindset. Ylvar frowned, his mind racing. He had seen nothing like this before. The humans had moved as if they were ghosts, a skill that was unsettling in its effectiveness. The Valdari commander found himself watching Aria and her team with new eyes, a flicker of respect mingling with his skepticism. As the day ended, Ylvar couldn't shake the feeling that he had underestimated the humans. The Valdari believed in the superiority of their strength and technology, but the humans were proving that there was more to warfare than brute force. A sense of unease settled in Ylvar's mind, and he resolved to keep a closer eye on these newcomers. Perhaps they were not as weak as they appeared. The tensions rise. The Valdari warriors found themselves increasingly frustrated as the days of training passed. The humans had become the talk of the galactic arena, their unconventional tactics and unexpected successes confounding their peers. Ylvar's irritation grew each day. He watched Arya closely, trying to understand the secret behind her team's stealth and success. During a break in training, Ylvar approached Arya, his curiosity getting the better of him. "What is it that makes you so confident, human?" he asked, his tone challenging, but less mocking than before. "You move like shadows, yet you wear no cloaks, use no advanced camouflage. What is your secret?" Arya looked at him, her eyes reflecting a depth Ylvar hadn't noticed before. "The secret isn't in the gear, Commander. It's in the training, the discipline. We are taught to use everything at our disposal, to think like our enemies, to anticipate their moves. Camouflage is not just about hiding. It's about becoming part of the environment." Ylvar considered her words. The Valdari had always relied on their advanced technology, believing it gave them an edge over all other species. But the humans' approach was different, more organic. It was a strategy he had not considered, one that relied on adaptability and understanding rather than sheer power. Later that night, Ylvar met with his second-in-command, Lyra, a seasoned warrior with a sharp mind. "These humans," Ylvar said, "there's something about them. They are not what we expected." Lyra nodded. "I've been watching them too. They think differently. It's as if they see the world through a different lens. We've always prided ourselves on our technology, but maybe we've become too reliant on it." Ylvar grunted in agreement. "We need to understand their methods. If we are to face them in the field, we must know how they think. Arrange a joint training session with the humans. I want to see how they operate up close." The following day, Ylvar proposed the joint session to Arya. She agreed readily, sensing the opportunity to learn about the Valdari as well. The training session was set in a vast, rugged terrain simulating a war zone, filled with obstacles, hidden dangers, and surveillance devices. As the session began, Ylvar observed the humans closely. They moved quietly, their eyes constantly scanning the environment. They used hand signals and whispers, their communication seamless. It was as if they were reading each other's thoughts. The Valdari moved with them, attempting to match their stealth, but found themselves making more noise, triggering more alarms. During a moment of respite, Ylvar found himself walking beside Arya. "You train your people well," he admitted, his voice grudging. "I see now that there is more to your camouflage than mere appearances." Arya looked at him, a slight smile on her lips. "It's about trust, Commander. Trusting each other. Trusting our instincts. We train to become one with our surroundings, to anticipate what can't be seen. And sometimes, it's not about being invisible. It's about making your enemy see what you want them to see." Ylvar felt a shiver run down his spine. He had always thought of warfare in terms of strength and skill, but Arya was suggesting something more profound. The idea of manipulating perception itself was a tactic he had never considered. He realized then that the humans brought a new dimension to combat, one that could not be measured by conventional means. As the training continued, Ylvar found himself respecting the humans more. They were not just warriors. They were strategists, thinkers. Their camouflage was not just physical but psychological. They could become invisible not by hiding, but by controlling what their enemies perceived. Ylvar knew he had much to learn from these humans. He also knew that, despite their differences, there was a common ground they could find. For the first time, he felt a spark of camaraderie with Arya and her team. The Galactic Arena was a place of competition, but it was also a place of learning. And Ylvar was beginning to understand that the greatest lesson was that there was always something new to learn. The betrayal. Tensions in the Galactic Arena had reached a boiling point. Word of the human success had spread, and jealousy brewed among the other species. Some viewed the humans as a threat, believing their unconventional methods undermined the traditional values of the galactic arena. Whispers of dissent filled the halls, and alliances shifted in the shadows. One evening, while reviewing the day's training data, Area received an unexpected visitor. Kale, a representative of the Zolkar, a species known for their political cunning and espionage skills, entered her quarters with a proposition. "Captain Area," Kale said smoothly, his reptilian eyes gleaming in the dim light, "I believe we can be of mutual benefit to one another." Area raised an eyebrow, wary of the Zolkar's reputation. "What are you proposing, Kal?" "The Valdari," Kale continued, "are becoming too comfortable. They've ruled the arena for too long. Their arrogance blinds them. With your help, we can disrupt their dominance, shift the balance of power. Your skills in stealth and deception would be invaluable to our cause." Aria's eyes narrowed. She knew better than to trust the Zolkar. "We are not interested in disrupting the balance of power, Kale. We are here to learn, to train, to become better warriors. We won't be pawns in your political games." Kale's smile didn't waver, but there was a flicker of annoyance in his eyes. "Think about it, Captain. The Valdari respect you now, but how long will that last? They see you as a novelty, a curiosity. Once they've learned what they can from you, they'll discard you. You and your team will be nothing but another footnote in their history of conquest." Area remained silent, her expression unreadable. Kale leaned closer, his voice a whisper. "Join us, and you'll have a place of power, a voice in the council. Refuse, and you may find the Valdari are not as friendly as they appear." With that, Kale turned and left, his words lingering in the air like a poisonous cloud. Area watched him go, her mind racing. She knew there was truth in Kale's words. The Valdari's respect was hard-earned but fragile. They had a long history of asserting their dominance, and alliances were as fleeting as the winds on a battlefield. The following day, Area met with her team. "We need to be cautious," she said. "There are those who wish to use us to further their own agendas. The Zolkar have approached me, offering an alliance against the Valdari. I refused, but we must remain vigilant." Lieutenant Mason frowned. "What's their angle?" "They want to disrupt the balance of power, use us to weaken the Valdari. But I don't trust them. We can't afford to be drawn into their games." The team agreed, their loyalty to Area unshakable. They continued their training, but the tension in the arena was palpable. The other species watched them with suspicion, and Ilvar seemed distant, preoccupied. Area knew that a confrontation was inevitable. That night, as Area was patrolling the camp, she noticed movement in the shadows. Instinctively, she followed, her steps silent as she approached the edge of the training grounds. There she saw Kale meeting with a group of warriors, not just Zolkar, but representatives of several species. She recognized Lyra among them. Aria's heart sank as she realized what was happening. A coalition was forming, and its purpose was clear: to take down the humans and reassert the dominance of the established powers. She had no proof, only her instincts, but she knew she couldn't stay silent. The next day, Area sought out Ilvar. She found him in the training arena, overseeing a group of Valdari warriors. "Commander Ilvar," she called out, approaching him. "We need to talk." Ilvar turned to her, his expression guarded. "What is it, Captain?" "There's a plot against us," Area said bluntly. "Kale is forming a coalition to undermine the humans and the Valdari. They see us as threats, and they're planning to act." Ilvar's eyes narrowed. "You have proof?" "No," Ariad admitted, "but I saw Kale meeting with Lyra and others last night. We need to be on guard." Ilvar's jaw tightened. Lyra would never betray the Valdari. "I'm not asking you to take my word for it," Aria said. "I'm asking you to trust your instincts. You know the Zolkar can't be trusted. We need to be ready." Ilvar stared at her for a long moment, his mind racing. Finally, he nodded. "We will prepare. But if you're wrong, Captain, it will be your head." Aria nodded, knowing the risk she was taking. She had no intention of being wrong. As the sun set over the galactic arena, she felt the weight of the coming storm. Trust was a rare commodity in this place, and betrayal lurked around every corner. The battle was coming, and it would be fought not just with weapons, but with wits, trust, and deception. Unseen victory. The morning of the confrontation dawned with a sense of unease. The training grounds were quiet, the usual chatter and laughter replaced by tense whispers. The humans and Valderi had joined forces, their uneasy alliance born of necessity rather than trust. Arya and Ylvar stood side by side, watching the horizon as their warriors prepared for the day's exercises. "Do you really believe they'll make a move?" Ylvar asked quietly, his eyes scanning the perimeter. "They will," Arya replied with conviction. "Kale is too cunning to let an opportunity pass. He knows that if he waits too long, our alliance will become stronger. He wants to strike while there's still doubt." Ylvar grunted in agreement. He had always believed in the strength of his warriors, but the humans had shown him a different kind of strength, one that relied on trust and adaptability. He had come to respect Arya, not just as a fellow warrior, but as a leader. She had proven her worth, and now he was prepared to stand by her side. As the day progressed, the tension in the air became palpable. The training exercise was a large-scale simulation involving all the species present. Each group was tasked with defending a strategic point while attempting to capture the others. It was a test of strategy, endurance, and cooperation. Arya and her team moved with precision, coordinating with the Valderi to secure their objectives. They knew the real battle was not against the other teams, but against the unseen threat of Kal's coalition. As they approached one of the strategic points, Arya noticed a flicker of movement in the trees. She signaled to her team, and they melted into the shadows, becoming invisible to the untrained eye. Ylvar watched as the humans disappeared, his respect for their skills growing. He had doubted them at first, but now he saw the value in their methods. The Valderi had always prided themselves on their combat prowess, but the humans brought something new to the table: the ability to blend into their surroundings, to become part of the environment. As they moved closer to their target, the trap was sprung. A group of Zolkar warriors, led by Kale, emerged from the foliage, weapons drawn. Lyra was with them, her expression one of determination. Ylvar's heart sank at the sight of his second-in-command among the enemy. "Kale," Ylvar called out, stepping forward. "What is the meaning of this?" Kale smirked, his reptilian eyes glinting with malice. "It's simple, Commander. The Valderi have held the reins of power for too long. It's time for a change. With the humans' help, we could have achieved something great. But since they refused, well, we'll just have to eliminate them." Ylvar clenched his fists, his anger rising. "And you, Lyra, how could you betray your own people?" Lyra's eyes met Ylvar's, her expression unrepentant. "The Valderi are stagnating. We need new leadership, new ideas. Kale offers a future. You offer only the past." Arya, hidden among the trees, watched the exchange with a cold, calculating mind. She knew Kale was trying to provoke Ylvar, to draw him into a confrontation that would leave the Valderi vulnerable. She had to act before it was too late. With a silent signal, Arya's team sprang into action. They moved like shadows, their camouflage blending with the forest, making them nearly invisible. The Zolkar, focused on Ylvar, were taken by surprise as the humans appeared out of nowhere, disarming them with swift, precise movements. Ylvar joined the fray, his anger fueling his attacks. The Valderi warriors, inspired by their commander and the humans' example, fought with renewed vigor. The battle was short but intense, the Zolkar outmatched by the combined forces of the humans and Valderi. Kale, realizing his plan had failed, attempted to flee, but Arya was faster. She tackled him to the ground, pinning him with her knee. "This is over, Kale," she said, her voice cold. "You underestimated us, and now you'll answer for your betrayal." Kale sneered, but his eyes betrayed his fear. You may have won this battle, human, but the war is far from over. There will always be those who seek power, who will do anything to achieve it. Arya tightened her grip, her eyes hard. Maybe. But as long as there are those willing to stand against tyranny, you'll never succeed. With the Zolkar defeated, the humans and Valderi stood victorious. The coalition had been broken, and the threat neutralized. As they returned to the camp, Ylvar turned to Arya. You've proven yourself, Captain, not just as a warrior, but as a leader. I'm honored to fight beside you. Arya nodded, a sense of relief washing over her. Thank you, Commander. We may come from different worlds, but we share the same goal, to protect those who cannot protect themselves. The Galactic arena had been a place of rivalry and mistrust, but it had also become a place of unity and respect. The lesson was clear. Strength was not just about power, but about understanding and cooperation. The humans and Valderi had forged a bond that would endure, a bond that would stand against any threat. As the sun set, Arya looked out over the training grounds, the sense of victory and camaraderie filling her heart. They had proven that even the greatest warriors could learn from each other, that even the most powerful empires could be humbled by the strength of unity. In the end, it was not the might of their weapons, but the strength of their resolve that had won the day. And that, Arya knew, was the true meaning of victory. The narrative highlights the themes of trust, alliance, and the strength that comes from unity. Even the most powerful and arrogant forces can be defeated when individuals from different backgrounds come together with a common purpose. The lesson is clear. True power lies not in domination, but in cooperation and understanding. The end.